I did some more research last night. I don't think I will be picking up a camera. From a financial standpoint, it really doesn't make any sense to do so. I technically already have 2 devices which can record in 4K. One of which I'm using right now, GoPro 7. It can record in 4K 60. However, if I wanted to do any slow motion B-roll, I would have to drop down to 1080, and fortunately for me, the GoPro can do 120 and 240 FPS in 1080p, and my phone can also do 120 or 240 in 1080p. I'm gonna explain why it doesn't make any sense, and if I did, which cameras I would get when I go and get some Starbucks and go and pick up my lunch. For some odd reason, the exposure is way off, so I'm gonna have to correct that in post-processing. I'm actually recording in 4K at 60 FPS, and I'm actually getting some salted caramel hot chocolate. My parent wanted it this past weekend, and I thought about it too, and I actually want hot chocolate as well. What I am going to do is I'm gonna get it too. Here's my thought process about not getting another camera. Financial standpoint, as I mentioned a few seconds earlier, I have this GoPro 7 which can record in 4K 60. My phone can also record in 4K 60. The primary concern I actually have is not being able to record in 4K. It's the amount of hard drive space I have. Now, my 16-inch MacBook has a 500 gigabyte SSD. However, for those of you who record in 4K, say if you're really into exporting the video and optimizing your video to the best settings for YouTube, you'll know, and I've done hours and hours of research on how to export settings to the shutter speed video, all that good stuff. At one point I came across this one guy's video. I'm sorry, I forgot what your channel is called. They basically said when you're trying to export a video, either go with a VBR or a CBR. I think CBR stands for constant bit rate. I'm not sure about the VBR, but they said YouTube compresses the video even after you export it. Not only do you compress the video in post, YouTube also does their own compression. He said just in case, export the video in between 50 to 100, and he said if you don't care about how much space the video takes up, then export the video with 100, either VBR or CBR. For me, from experimentation, I've never hit 100 because 100 seriously just takes up way too much space. The video I recorded with my camcorder yesterday, I don't know what the recording bit rate is for basically a 5 to 6 year old camcorder, which records in 1080p by 60, but it's only a 7.1 megapixel camera. I don't know if megapixel amount has anything to do with it. Trying 100 CBR, it was over 5 gigabytes. With just 50, it was better. It was around 4.5 for a 6-year-old camcorder to be recording in 1080p by 60. And the fact you can't even control the shutter speed, everything is pretty much automatic. There's no manual controls, nothing from that camcorder. But the fact that it basically took up 4.5 gigabytes at 50 CBR for rendering and exporting and optimizing purposes, I just thought that to be quite a lot. I ordered a 2 terabyte SSD external hard drive off of Amazon, and because the GoPro battery is absolute trash when it comes to filming in 4K 60, anything in the 4K realm, so 24 FPS, 30 FPS, and 60 FPS, memory card, I can get about an hour 30 footage. However, the battery, I don't think lasts as long. Now, I do have another GoPro battery in my backpack, but just in case, I ordered another battery plus the charger. It came as a bundle off Amazon. That in total was about $300. But compared that with, buying another 4K camera, I looked at the ZV-1, which I actually entered Sony's giveaway for, A64 and A6500. Both of those body alone costs $800 new, used off Amazon, and I couldn't find any on Craigslist. Used was about $800. Hard drive itself was $240. The battery and charger itself, and it's a dual battery charger, so charger itself plus the battery was $40. In total, I spent $300 on both the battery and the hard drive. Now, for battery, in case my GoPro does, run out of battery, because I know it will, at least I have this thing to record with. This thing, I do have an external power bank I can use, And the good thing about the iPhone is recording in 4K 60 FPS 0.5 at the ultra wide angle, it doesn't take up as much space. The last time I thought about it, as much as I want a camera specifically catering for 4K filming, I don't really need it. All I really need is something that can allow me to record in 4K 60 when I wanted to. Now that I have a 2TB hard drive coming in about 2 or 3 days, space I'm no longer concerned about. It's just having to play around with, you know, the financial standpoint and knowing what I can and can't afford, and being able to optimize and use up.
Here you go.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, you too.
I think we did a mobile. So.
Oh, for sure. Thank you. Have a good one. I got my drink. And I'm literally Google searching right now, as of this moment, how to adjust exposure comp. It's seriously way too blown out. You can literally see I've got my Google search on how to adjust exposure compensation. They said that I had to be in ProTune or something, which I literally switched the ProTune on and off. The option is still grayed out. So now I'm wondering if it's possible to adjust exposure compensation filming in 4K 60. This is without adjusting exposure, and honestly, it looks so much better. Now, I'm gonna head over to Taco Bell because I'm gonna get some chicken quesadillas for lunch. Afterwards, we are actually heading out to pick up some groceries in Cupertino. This is why I need a lot of batteries for GoPro, because I've literally only recorded, I think, about 3 to 5 minutes of footage, and my battery is already at 84%. I actually did a photo, which I will show now from my phone, that shows how much battery percentage I'm left with, only having filmed for about, 10 minutes straight. By the way, this is what the GoPro looks like. I can't even see. Oh, so here's the lens is right here. I'm gonna have to maybe bump up the exposure, but yeah, it's a little black DIY windscreen, and the lens is the reflection on it. I'll probably label like an arrow or something with the lenses. Not very visible. When people see the camera, they will see the black fluff first, and then they'll see the lens. And I just realized there's some hair in the frame. Hopefully that didn't get in the video all too much, but let's go order some food. I wanted to be lazy, but there's all this space right here, and I parked all the way in the back. Order one chicken quesadilla. I just checked, and I have about combined 13 to 14 minutes of footage in 4K 60. I am at around 77% battery at the moment. I can't use 4K 60 to do a time lapse. I would have to essentially take out the battery and then plug in external power source of some sort. A battery will be used up like nothing if I tried to do, say, a 30 to 60 minute time lapse. The one thing I don't understand is how do people like John Olsen, he's gone through a lot of camera setups, and I'm just wondering how people like him and Casey Neistat go through the whole day, film the whole day. It seems like they have the camera running 8 hours a day. I don't know how many batteries you have to carry around. I have 4 BX1 batteries for the action cam, because I know those batteries don't last long. Action cam cameras really do not last long in terms of battery. The only batteries that do last long are camcorders. A6000, I mean, it's not to say, but the A7 II battery actually lasts okay. The A6000, as soon as you start holding the shutter button down and start spamming pictures, I think the battery for that is rated for around 300 to 400 shots, which actually is pretty sad also compared to Canon. If we were to just be talking about action cams, I've tested both the AS100V, the Sony action cams, and actually GoPro. Now the battery is still absolute trash. So that's why I have 4 BX1s, 1 GoPro battery coming in. So now I'm gonna have in total 3 GoPro batteries, hopefully fully charged all the time until I want to use them. And I guess today is just a test to see how warm the camera gets, just how fast the battery will drain. Is this the chicken quesadilla? I'm gonna be heading out again in an hour, so I gotta get back home, eat my lunch, hopefully transport these video clips over to my computer, format the micro SD card, charge up the battery. It is sad knowing how fast the batteries drain filming in 4K. Let's see what kind of footage we can get in Cupertino. I do want to add, it is so much less conspicuous filming with the GoPro and say like an action cam versus, having a Joby GorillaPod made specifically for DSLRs and mirrorless, and then having a gigantic setup like a Canon T5i or T6, and then with a 1635 or a 1740. I just left the house and I actually am very surprised by how slowly the GoPro battery charges. I've been home for a good hour and a half. I just left. Battery was at 76%, I think, when I put it on charge, and literally before I unplugged it, the battery jumped from 92% up to 100. Whether I actually do have the full 100%, I don't know, but it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna be out for that long. It is faster when editing on a SSD. I transferred about 13 to 14 gigs of video. I completely forgot about the fact that a minute of like 4K 60 video from an iPhone is 700 megabytes. So every single minute clip from the GoPro is basically 1 gigabyte large. I trimmed more of the hair. I hope it doesn't fly into the frame again. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to trim it down even further after I get back after this trip. It's very memory intensive filming 4K 60. I should really trim more hair after I get back. I got 2 sets of rubber bands strapping this windscreen onto the camera. It definitely works. If anything, I have to modify the audio, which I did actually. I've already played around with it, and it is possible to bring up or amplify the volume by voice, reduce or completely remove the echo sound the microphone produces. I've had some instances where the car turns left and I either hold down the horn or they see me at the last second, and then I feel like a dick at that point in time, so I cut them really close, even though I know I won't hit them because I know my own car. Get really close to them and finished off the turn. See you guys when I get to Cupertino, because it's currently 3:33 and pickup time's at 4, but parent wants me to pick up some other additional groceries and I'm trying to get there as quickly as I can. Without further ado, I will see you guys there. Also, why I stopped filming, because there's actually a cop in front of me. It would actually be a good idea, and this guy's about to run the red. Nice. Right behind a cop. This really funny thing just happened. I had this 2.0 turbo Accord just try to show me up. Yeah, this person right here. They took that turn and they just cut off a car doing like 80 in the carpool lane. But it was so funny. Usually that turn, people don't go that fast. By the sound of the acceleration, I was like, no, you're not having it. So what I did was I kind of pushed it a little bit. I apexed it just perfectly and I just floored it afterwards. They were on my butt, and then taking a right from Saratoga onto 85 North, I apexed it perfectly and just smashed on the accelerator and just shot off. Got to 70 even before the merge, but I slowed back down because I was like, it's not worth going over 70 because they can't catch up. No joke, it took them at least 1/8 of a mile to catch up. I just thought it was really funny. Didn't film anything. It was just the whole parking was a pain in the ass. This is what we got. These were all from the market. These 2 items and the stuff on the bottom was all pre-ordered. I was in line for this. This is one seller. This as another was another. I'm putting all this in here, even though it should be in the refrigerated bag, but knowing me, if I go through a corner too hard, I don't want the soup to spill. It would be a smarter idea to still put it in the refrigerated bag, and I can still put it in this bag. Don't want it to actually melt or anything. This is what I like about the GorillaPod, is that you can be holding it and running and gunning, but at the same time, you can just, put it on, like what I'm have it on right now, which is the cover of the storage compartment. I'm gonna stick this in here, hope for the best that it doesn't actually fall to the side or anything, and I don't have anything to push it against, so just gonna have to hope for the best and hopefully it doesn't fall sideways. My primary concern is just it falling sideways because the soup is over there. I don't have anything in the... Actually, I do have that. But it should be I hope it's fine. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna move it up to the front. This will be funny. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna move it up to the front. At least then I can secure a seatbelt on it. And that way at least it's secure. Alright, should be good to go. I'm gonna go back home, transfer these video clips into the computer, maybe even put the battery back on the charge again, because I know I'm using quite a lot of battery juice right now just filming this. Heading back out later today because the sibling has an acupuncture appointment. If nothing further, see you guys later. Hope you all had a nice day. We will see what's to come later on during the week. Stay safe.